Hello everyone, my name's Ulyster, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make an automatic furnace smelting machine. And when I say automatic, I mean automatic. There's not going to be any levers or buttons or anything that you need to switch on and off to make the thing work. It's just going to work. It's just going to do its thing when you put items in the relevant chests. Speaking of, this is where we're going to begin. With a chest. Now, it can be a single or a double, doesn't matter. And the orientation likewise doesn't matter. If you wanted to, you could have it facing this way, and you could have the hoppers leading out this way. It doesn't matter. As long as you have the space to put the hoppers in the first place, that's the important thing. Speaking of hoppers, the thing I love most about this is that because it's entirely modular with the way that it's designed, with the way it's built, you can make this as big or as small as you want. I'm going to stick with 8 hoppers for now, but if you've got need for like 12 or whatever, you can absolutely do this, and it doesn't change all that much, honestly. It's the same basic idea, and you'll need the same parts. Doesn't matter. Next, we're going to be placing the furnaces on top of all of these hoppers, one for each one, which, you know, kind of makes sense. And then after this, we come around to the back, and then we put hoppers onto this side as well. This is where we're going to be putting the fuel to go into the furnaces. So whether it's coal, charcoal, kelp blocks, doesn't matter which you're going to be using, that's how we're going to get them into the furnaces. Next, you need to put yet more hoppers on top of the furnaces, and this is where we're going to be placing the burnable items. So your logs, for instance, or even the ores, they're all going to go in here. Now, once that's done, we're then going to switch over to your building block of choice. I'm using stone for this instance, and we're going to need to extend out from the side 3 blocks on both parts, top and bottom. Now, because we're on the left-hand side here, as seen by the front of the chests and the front of the furnaces there, we're going to raise 1 block up, and then 2 blocks up. And then on the second block, we're going to be putting more hoppers, and then immediately getting rid of those temporary blocks right there. We don't need those anymore. And then we come over to the right-hand side, and we do the exact same thing with the extending. 3 on each section, 1, 2, 3. We're only going to be doing the first block. We don't need any hoppers over on here. That's for the left-hand side only. Or the right-hand side if you are, in fact, building this in the reverse way. As long as it's only on one side, that's all that matters. Now with that done, we can begin putting the rails down. So from this side here, we start with a powered rail. Then we switch to a regular rail. And then we finish all the way across with these rails, but we stop 1 block short. And then we finish it with a powered rail right here. And then we come down to the coal line, the fuel line, and we do the exact same thing. However, whatever you do, don't start up this end with either a regular rail or a powered rail, because that happens if you do. You don't want that. Instead, just kind of come 1 away from the top, put your rail down, switch back to the powered rail, and then everything will be fine. At which point you then complete this line with the rails, and again stop 1 short, switch to a powered rail, and then that's all of the rails done. The next part involves the actual redstone component of this. Now, I'm going to be flying for this, because it's going to be easier to explain how it all works if I show you the side view. Trying to do it if I'm up here is going to be a lot harder to do, but from the side, it's easier. So the first thing you want to do is from this first block here, next to the powered rail, come back 2, and then put another block underneath that middle one, and then get rid of that block right next to it, so you've got like a T shape right there. What you do with this next is you put a redstone torch on that block there, which then powers the rail right there. And that's what you need for now. Next, you grab a redstone comparator and you put it next to the furnace like that. Then the repeater next to the comparator, then redstone dust right there. And if you've ever made an item sorter, this is going to begin looking very familiar. because it's the same basic idea. What you do next is do what I did, one block there, with a hole in the middle, redstone dust on there, repeater facing into that block there, and then that's the important part of this section done, but we're not finished yet. You come out to the side by 2 blocks, and then you just lead this all the way down to the other end of the rail and connects it up to the powered section there. At which point, you do the exact same thing with the redstone, however, leave a gap of 1 about halfway down, and then finish off there, and then go back to the gap you made, and put a repeater. You need a repeater because there's no way you're going to get the power from this signal to go from here all the way down to the end without one. Because that's going to stop probably about here, maybe. So you need the repeater to finish it. And that's the first side done, redstone-wise. That's finished. Then you need to do the exact same thing on the second side. Almost. I say almost because if you do the exact same thing, by the time you get to this third block, and you put the redstone there, it then just connects it to the top side, which isn't what you want at all. So instead, we begin the same way. You do a comparator and a repeater, and then you put a building block here, and then you come down, put one here as well, put some redstone dust here, and then you need to come down one more, like so. Because again, if you put the block there, and then put the redstone, it's just going to connect up to the top, and that's just going to mess everything up. So come down 1 block, put the redstone there, at which point you come out 2, just like you did on the other side, and you come over 2 again, and then you need to put 1 block there, remove that block, redstone torch here, another block here, so you kind of make a sort of square shape coming around from here, and then you can connect that up with redstone leading into this block. This performs the exact same function that this repeater does on this side for that block and that redstone torch. It's just a little bit more involved because of the way it's designed. You can't do the exact same circuit, you have to change things up slightly. But with that done, you can then, just like the top side, run this all the way down to the other end, and then you make sure that it's connected up to the powered rail on the other side. Again, with a repeater, so the signal can make it. Like so. Then that's done. That redstone is now powered. Well, it's not powered, but it's connected. And we are ready to get to work with the next step, which will be coming back up to the top here, next to these hoppers. Now, this is going to be a personal choice, honestly, how you set this up. I like putting 2 more hoppers on the left side, 1 more on the right, and then making like a small platform up here, because this is where we're going to be putting our chests to put the ores and other burnable items in. So I'm going to just drop down to the floor, leap this down to the bottom, and grab a ladder. And then we're going to just do this up to the top. Put 2 chests there, and 2 more on the side there. And from a functional standpoint, it's finished. That's a complete build. And you're going to be wondering, how does this work? Well, here's the idea. The way this is all set up, as long as there is nothing in these bottom hoppers, as long as there's nothing in there, there is no signal coming out, which means that this rail here remains powered. Okay, so if I put the minecarts on, that's not a minecart. If I put the minecarts on, and important note, they have to be minecarts with hoppers. Minecarts with chests won't work for this. It has to be hoppers. And then you just push these over to the opposite side from the ones that's powered. And the idea is, as long as there is nothing in these hoppers, these minecarts will stay on the far side away from them. But as soon as even just one thing goes into them, let me just grab a single piece of coal to demonstrate. As soon as just one thing goes into them, it sends a signal round to this other end, to this powered rail here, which tells this minecart to come down here. And because you're connecting all of this up, that same signal that triggers that powered rail down there turns this redstone torch off. I'm going to have to get another bit of coal to show you that section. Like so. The reason for that is because you want to wait until that hopper is empty before it sends the minecart back over yonder. And it's going to be the exact same thing with this side. If you were to put, say, a single iron ore into this hopper, it will do the exact same thing. It'd send this minecart across, empty that hopper, and then immediately send it back because that powered rail would then get reactivated. So what does it look like if you were to do this properly? Well, allow me to show you. I'm going to grab a couple of coal pieces. I think 128 should do, don't you? And then we're going to go for 64 iron, 64 copper, and then we're going to go for 64 gold as well. And you know what? Let's put some oaks in as well. Let's put some oak logs in for good measure. So what you do is you put all of your fuel in the left-hand side, all your items in the right-hand side, and then the minecarts will just keep moving back and forth, and you can see the furnaces down below are all doing their thing. And once the chests are emptied, it deactivates. It's going to take a while because I've put a lot of things in here. But if we come down here, we can see that the furnaces are all burning things, which means that in this chest, we do have one iron ingot, randomly, and the rest are all copper. How did that random? Oh, that was the first one I put in. That was the demonstration one I put in. Now it makes sense. I thought I'd broken it somehow. But yeah, this is fully functional, and it is a truly automatic smelting machine. And the best part is, it's very easy to hide if you wanted to. You know, you could, like, put things in front of these hoppers. You could put things in front of these hoppers. You could do anything you wanted to with this. If you're building this underground, even better. You can build it right into the wall and hide the vast majority of it. As long as you've got some way to get up to the chests to fill them up, that's all that matters. And that's that. The chests are empty, the minecarts have stopped, and the furnaces are doing their thing. I hope you've enjoyed this. Hope it's helped. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.